Unilorin farm boy, sustaining lives through agriculture, growing food, creating futures, feeding nations, changing lives. Unilorin farm boy, building hope for every generation through innovation and dedication. We are growing a brighter tomorrow.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, this video is directed to farmers, not just farmers but people who want to be successful in life. But I will be focusing on farmers today. 10 reasons why farmers fail. I am going to be using myself as an example. It wouldn't be nice for you to come across this video and skip it, then go further to repeat the same processes I did that made me fail. Do not look at me as a very young person. I have been in this niche of agriculture for a couple of years now, and I did a lot of trials and errors that warrants me to fail. I am going to be using these 10 points to share my story with you and give you reasons why you shouldn't fail. And I will be using 10 reasons why farmers fail to educate you. So let's go. The number one reason why most farmers fail is inability for them to get the right funds to fund their businesses. And I am going to be sharing a very interesting story to you to back up this point. A lot of farmers don't really get enough money to fund their businesses, most especially for startups. I was once like that. Starting a business, most especially in agriculture, is not really funny at all. There are times whereby you need to source for funds outside. You seek for your friends, you beg them to send you money or to come and invest in your business, but they will fail you at those moments. So what should you do? I am going to be sharing a story with you. When I wanted to start one of my agribusinesses, I reached out to a lot of friends around that I assumed would be of help to me, but unfortunately, none of them was ready to help. So what did I do, or what should a good farmer do at that moment? Now, this African mentality of you single-handedly owning a product or owning a company or an organization should be bad. If you look at most people who have become successful in life, they owned most of these. If you look at people like Elon Musk, people like Dangote, Aliko Dangote, people like let me use Nigerians for example, people like Bilod. You will see them having a group name: Bilod Group, Dangote Group, Dan Tata Group. Most of this. So the group, that means they are a group of people coming together, but they have one person who is single-handedly spearing the affairs of that organization. So do not have the mindset of you sitting down to pioneer and take charge of everything. You'll be the one to fund the business. You'll be the one to give directive. You'll be the CEO. You'll be the founder. You'll be the investor. You'll be everything. That is not how businesses are done. Everybody who grows and go bigger in life have this public mentality of bringing in other hands to come and join them in growing businesses. So for you to have the mindset of growing your business and also running further in this agribusiness, you need to channel. If you, I'm not saying you single-handedly owning a business is wrong. If you have the money, you have the resources, you have everything required of people, fine, you can go ahead. But once you lack this aspect of you being the investor, you lack finance, you lack labor, you lack the intelligence to pioneer the affairs of the business, it wouldn't be nice for you to just sit on that. Seek for investors, bring friends to come and collaborate with you, to fund this business. So this leads me to number two. So the number two reason why most farmers fail is lack of modern knowledge to invest or implement in their farming activities. You see this one, I am going to share a story with you. I am a social media person. So a lot of people do reach out to me that, oh, okay, I should come and train them. They want to learn from me. They want to do this, they want to do that. So once I place money or value on my knowledge, they will run away expecting that I should give it to them for free. But I will sit down and calculate a lot of things. Why should I spend my money, spend my time, invest, and do a lot of volunteer work just for me to sit down, create a social media platform that I've invested hundreds of thousands to grow, then be teaching people for free? There are some things that I will teach you for free, but it is limited. So when people reach out to me to teach them for free and later on they found themselves being discouraged that I am requesting for money for me to give them knowledge, they will be like, oh, Why should I be doing that? But the truth of the matter is, this is the reason why most farmers fail. They just tend to have this mindset that, okay, it is just farming. It is just growing of pepper. It is just growing of cucumbers. It is just growing of yam. It's something everybody can do. But let me tell you the secret between an educated farmer and an illiterate farmer. These two guys are both farmers, but definitely there is going to be a difference between the two. There's no how you compare my system of farming to that of an illiterate who did not go to school, who didn't really invest time in knowledge to do it the right way. One might grow it and get 60% yield, the other might grow it and also get 80% yield. That is the difference, or 90 or even 95, close to 100 as the case may be. So this is what really gives people leverage over others. You see, a lot of people who are successful just sit down and listen to their success stories. One of the reasons they are successful is because they really took time to invest in knowledge. But when you come to farming, a lot of people take knowledge for granted. At the moment, I'm currently undergoing series of courses that have been helping me to advance my greenhouse technology or farming. I have really put in tens of thousands to make sure that I gain this knowledge. But somebody will just come and call me from nowhere and expect me to, oh, okay, I should come and teach them this for free. It is not done that way. If you want to be successful and not fail as a farmer, one of the reasons you should, or one of the things you should do, is that you should really take out time to invest in knowledge. If not, you are going to be the failed farmer. So that leads me to point number three. So reason number three why people fail is the unpredictability of climate and weather changes. Yes, a lot of people might argue this point with me, but that is just the fact. Climate and weather changes. What is the difference between climate and weather? Climate runs over a number of years. Weather is at that moment. The weather now is cold. It should run between 30 to 35 degrees at the moment. Yes, here it is normal. But the climate is that over a number of years, it could be 5 years, it could be 10 years, it could be 20 years. That is the difference. So, a lot of people, due to global warming and other activities that have really been, affecting the human nature and kind, we are finding it difficult to predict. Even scientists are finding it difficult to predict correctly weather and climate now. But if you really pay attention to the pattern at which this has been working, you should be able to detect that, okay, this changed last year, or it happened last year like this, like this, like this. So something happened in 2023, and I would like to share with you. In Illorin over there, we have a lot of people that lost crops because there was a forecast that between June, July, August, or so thereabouts, there is going to be a mid-year rain break. And that really happened, that over a period of 3 or 4 months there was no rain. So farmers lost their crops to droughts and so on. So we have a lot of people that really, 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 really was affected by this. I had a friend that over 3 hectares of maize, everything gone. It dried up prematurely, and the rain ceased when it started, you know, bringing out fruits and flowering. So there was nothing he could do. There's no way he could bring out or construct any form of irrigation. It was just so severe for him. He had just had to lose that money. So unpredictability, weather and climate change affects farmers a lot, and this leads to a lot of losses. And this is one of the reasons why most farmers fail. Now, this leads me to point number four: why farmers fail. So, concerning this point number four, why farmers fail, a lot of people will blame the government. But is it truly the government? Well, lack of road accessibility of farmers to convey their goods from remote or village or rural areas to the cities. Yes, this is one of the reasons why farmers fail. I remember far back then as 2009, 10, 11, 12, when my father was a very good rice farmer over there in one of the states in the eastern part of the country. The place was a very good fertile land that we planted rice. Was I think about on 4 hectares of land, if I'm not mistaken. So the yield was really well. But the problem now came, how are we going to convey this land? Sorry, this produce from this place to the town. So we ended up selling it at a very cheap and affordable price for people to come and buy. There were people that had the ruggedity. They will risk their trucks, enter those bushes, convey the produce out there, and these guys were making a hell lot of money. So we have people like that. Lack of good rules for farmers to convey their produce from the village to the city to sell at a good price. And this may also be one of the reasons why we are having some challenges of not just poverty, but also hunger in the land. Because we have a lot of food in the villages, but no good roads to convey the food from the village to the town. And this is leading to one of the reasons why farmers fail. How do they fail? It is because sometimes this produce end up in the villages. And because these farmers, not all though, but majority of them lack the proper knowledge, modern knowledge of storing some of these grains, it will end up getting waste in the village and they will fail. Now, this leads me to point number 5 on why farmers fail. Why farmers fail is inability of farmers to have access to good seed and seedlings or good produce for them to grow. I am into seedling production and I understand this point very well. How do I understand? I am going to explain. I just need you to stay with me. And if at this point you've not really subscribed to my YouTube channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel and help share this video with people can really benefit from it. So number 6 reason why farmers fail is lack of their accessibility to good seedlings and good produce that will yield well. I'm not talking about genetically modified organisms. No, that's not what I'm talking about. We grow seedlings, but the kind of seedlings we grow are hybrid seedlings. And now a lot of people will try to be judgmental in this aspect. They don't really know the difference between hybrid and GMOs. That should be an assignment for you. What is the difference between hybrid and GMO? There's drastic change. There's a drastic difference between the two of them. So what is the difference between the two of them, GMOs and hybrid? So going back to my point, a lot of farmers feel it is just for them to go to the market, get seedlings, plant, grow, and that's all. But you know that these seedlings have varieties. They have different species. So if you get a local variety and not the hybrid type, I'm not talking about GMO here, yeah, not the hybrid type that has really been advanced to yield well, then we end up getting the same quantity. So sometimes some of the seedlings they get might not be resistant to some disease, might not be resistant to some drought and other external biotic and abiotic factors, and it will lead to more than 50% low production. That's why you hear a lot of farmers complain, oh, I did this after application of fertilizer, I did all I could, but unfortunately it still didn't come out well. What could be the reason? Could it be that the seed or what they got to plant wasn't viable enough or wasn't good enough to give them good yield? These are some of the things that causes farmers failure. So now this leads me to point number 6 on why farmers fail. Point number 6 why farmers fail is disease outbreak for both livestock and crops. Now I'm going to speak briefly on livestock and crop because I'm a bit vast in these two areas. Talking about livestock first, using broilers as a case study, for every broiler to be good enough for farmers to buy or to consume or for they to outlast some particular time, they need to undergo 4 vaccines before their 4th week anniversary or on or before their 4th week anniversary. By 4 weeks, broilers should undergo 4 vaccines, double gumburu and double lasuta. Week 7, day 7 rather, day 14, day 21 and day 28. So you have to alternate it. So a lot of farmers do not really pay attention to things like this. They just maybe give them a dose or 2 or maximum 3. Why? Because these vaccines are expensive. So it will be the people that bought it at 4 weeks from them that will be bearing the cost later in future. So how should you go about this? Make sure you buy your produce or your day old or 4 weeks old broilers from a reliable source, people that are trustworthy, because I am into the game and this is what farmers do a lot. They don't give complete or failed vaccines to the chicks, and you that bought it at the long run will be bearing the cost. So now coming back to crops. Crops also have disease that affects them. In tomatoes, using them as a case study, we have blight. That blight is a very dangerous guy. Once it attacks your farm, there is no cure for it. You can only prevent. So once it starts attacking, that is how it is spreading like wildfire. I personally refer to it as the HIV of tomatoes. It has no cure. It can only be prevented. So how should you go about preventing things like this? There are biotic and abiotic factors that should go about preventing it. But a lot of people don't have knowledge about this. So when you are talking, they will just be like, oh, should be just they don't really have the insight on how to go about preventing things like this. So when you lack knowledge, disease can be a very, very, very good and valid point on why you have failed as a farmer. Because once they attack you, they are going to bring down your livestock or your crop farm. Now, this leads me to number 7 on why farmers fail. So, number 7 why farmers fail is weak storage facility and knowledge. A lot of farmers don't know how to store things. There is a video that was circulating on social media a couple of years ago on farmers that were using sniper to store beans. That is very dangerous. There are some bags, we call them storage bags, that are made from jute plants. This jute plant, the Yorubas call it a wedu. Yeah, a wedu. This draw a wedu. That's right. Sure, you understand. Yeah. So there are some sacks that are made of that, and they are, I don't know how they are really made because that is not my area. But when you use such sack to store grains, they last for a number of months without they getting spoiled. So you can really seek for biological ways of preventing your grains from being, you know, being wasted or being infected by some of these post-harvest insects like weevils. So you can go for all these biological factors without you using some of these chemicals like snapper, phosphocin, and all to store your grains, which is really, really bad for the health of we humans. So lack of storage facilities and knowledge will give room for your crops to fail, because it will not make sense at all for you to harvest 10 bags of beans, keep it in your room, then after 2-3 months you discover that everything has been infested with weevils. It will be bad. It will lose the market value. It will lose facility. It will lose the market value. It will lose the quality and quantity too as well. So always take precaution for your sin. Now, number 8 why farmers fail is unstable prices in the market. This you have to be very calculative. I'm not going to speak more on this because it is the field of people who are into agro commodities trading and all. Before you take anything to the market, you buy to trade as an agro commodity or do whatsoever, you really need to make some calculated calculations. Don't just go ahead and take any risk. Do some calculations. So now this leads. So number 9 why farmers fail is land ownership issues. You rent or lease a land to use it for planting. Then at the long run, the landlord or the owner of the place just comes all of a sudden that, oh, I want to use my land. I want to do this. I want to do that. What will you do? Of course, nothing. You have to surrender. So after investing, let's assume it's even a virgin land that you've invested a whole lot of money, and after the first year you've not been able to recover your money back. Then by the second year you don't have proper agreement with the landlord then or the owner of the land, then he's requesting for his land back. What would you do? Obviously your money is going to enter the bush and burn off. So you have to make proper agreements with people when you are renting or they are leasing their land to you. So number 10 reason why farmers fail is lack of government support and policies that slow down the growth of agro commodities and agri businesses. Now, what are some of these policies? Implementing some policies that do not favor startups. For example, I want to start an agro commodity or an agri business. Then you are coming up with policies that will hinder me from growth. What are some of these policies? Number 1, payment of tax. I'm just starting a business and you are telling me to come and pay tax. Where should I really get that money to pay tax? You have to give the government really have to do a lot of things to favor agriculture or agri business people. Because I feel if somebody is starting an agro commodity business or an agribusiness whatsoever, it should have at least between 5 to 10 years of tax-free year. Okay, let your business grow up, then you start paying tax after between 5 to 10 years. All these things are possible. So when you see some policies being established or come up by the government, these are some of the policies that will really affect people and will bring down the growth and cause farmers to fail in agribusiness. Agriculture is a very interesting niche and a very interesting profession. But if you fail to have the proper knowledge about it, you are going to fail. It is not the cause, but that is just the reality. So if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly do that and follow me across all my social media platforms. I am the Unilorin. Thank you for watching.